It's Sash Ditto. Of course, if it's not, I should have known. If it's not Scarf, that's the next most likely item. All right, I need to. Okay, well, Ursulina Fainting gives boost to both Magirna, the real one and the fake one. It's a +4 now. I'm gonna click Dazzling Gleam. I'm gonna hope I win the speed tie, and I'm gonna hope that KOs Arceus. It's VGC Legends time. This is the series where I spin a wheel, I get a random legendary or mythical Pokemon. I speed build a team around that Pokemon, and I try that team out on the VGC Regulation J ladder. I do this for two reasons. Of course, one is just that I really like legendary and mythical Pokemon, and the other is that by spamming a bunch of teams of varying quality, I have a fun little adventure and maybe learn some things about the game along the way. The last two episodes were Arceus and Shaman, so the mythical selections from the wheel are really picking up, and I do sort of wonder whether this time we'll get the third Generation 4 Mythical Nightmare, the very broken, very common on the ladder right now, Darkrai. But of course there are 24 other possibilities, so let's see what it actually is. Not going to be Darkrai. We're slowing down in a whole other part of the board. Is it Magirna, or do we make it over to Eternatus? It's Magirna. All right, that's another mythical Pokemon and also a strong one, so should be able to have some fun with that. Now it's form choice time. Magirna does have two of them. I think it's just an aesthetic difference. I don't have an original color Magirna in-game. I think there are a couple of Pokemon I would need to get that I don't have. So I'm tempted to use it. I'm guessing it can't be shiny. Too bad, that's good shiny. Oops. Yeah, can't be shiny. Magirna original must not be shiny to be from its event. Let's see what the other shiny Magirna looks like. Kind of bland. Original color it is. Showdown is the only place I'm likely to use one. Good bulk. Good special attack. Low speed. Pair it with Annihilate. Probably Choice Scarf. Final Gambit. And you have a very simple thing that we've seen on the ladder before. Life Orb Magirna. So Final Gambit. So Soul Heart powers Magirna up every single time any other Pokemon on the field faints. Doesn't matter which side it's on. Doesn't matter whether Magirna is involved in the KO. So Annihilate KOing itself and an opponent also gives Magirna +2 immediately. You know, if you pull that off. I'm also tempted sometime to try Magirna with, like, Explosion, Alolan Golem. Galvanize. It's probably bad, but it seems kind of fun. But I think I'll save that for another time. Okay, yeah, Magirna, Annihilate. Magirna will want Dazzling Gleam, Flash Cannon, Trick Room, Protect. I don't think I'm interested in Floor Cannon. Maybe I should be. It's Fairy type Overheat, Fairy type Draco Meteor, Fairy type Leaf Storm, whatever you prefer. So it would be throwing boosts away immediately, except it does so much damage and Fairy is such a strong type. It's probably worth it, right? It's probably kind of like the Life Orb Regidrago concept, where yes, Life Orb lowers your own Dragon Energy, but Dragon Energy is just so powerful that you get greater damage over the first two times you use it. And at that point, you've done so much damage, you're probably winning the game anyway. So it's worth it. I imagine Floor Cannon could work similarly, but we'll play it safe for now. Ice Beam could be an interesting coverage move. I am kind of interested in... Looks like Magirna doesn't get Moonblast, actually. So it is just Fleur Cannon or Dazzling Gleam. The other benefit of Fleur Cannon is that it gets past Wide Guard, it's single target. But I think Dazzling Gleam is fine. And we'll probably just want something like Boom. And the HP in a 9, because that's optimal for Life Orb Chip. And then just put the rest in its defenses. Plus special attack, minus speed, something like that. Annihilate, Final Gambit, probably like Close Combat. What does it run for a Ghost attack? You're not setting up Rage Fist with this, so probably Shadow Claw is fine, right? And then I could do a coverage move, or I could just do like U-turn. Doesn't really matter. We're probably almost always just clicking Final Gambit. I could do Rock Slide for the flinch cheese option. Terra, let's say Ghost to power up the Shadow Claw, if ever we need, or maybe fighting, because close combat's the stronger attack. And then what else? Probably just want to go a hard Trick Room direction, right? So I could do Ice Rider Calyrex. I also like that because it and Magearna can both snowball with abilities that boost their stats. Magearna's is arguably stronger because Magearna, again, does not have to be involved in the KO to get the boost, but we know Glacial Lance is very strong. We'll just do the old familiar Reg I Ice Rider Calyrex, I think. No Leech. This is going to be a very offensive team, so yeah, no Leech Seed shenanigans this time. But we get a Restricted that also plays well in Trick Room and can set Trick Room itself. I don't feel super strongly about its Terra type. There are a lot of good options. Magearna, as a Fairy type, has trouble with Fire. Fairy and Steel has a lot of trouble with Fire types, and actually Ice Rider Calyrex isn't great into Fire types either, so I think I want to go either Terra, Fire, or Water to make life harder for those and make Calyrex unburnable if it's Fire. So I'll go with Fire for now. I could consider changing it to Water. Rest of the team, I probably want an Ursaluna. That's just so very strong in Trick Room, and helps me into those Fire types to an extent, because things like Volcarona... I'm blanking on another Fire type that's relevant to this format. Volcarona, I don't know, Hearthflame Mask Ogrepon. If you underspeed them in Trick Room, Terrassalized Koraidon, you can just knock them out with Facade usually, or Headlong Rush in some situations maybe. Then... Okay, so if I were doing a Reg I Trick Room team, I'd have Lunala or Dawnwing's Necrozma as the other Restricted and have a Psy Spam component. I think Indeedee might be worth it anyway, because the terrain stops priority, which is a form of speed control opponents could use, and some teams like to load up on it, but more importantly, Indeedee gets Follow Me, Helping Hand, and can also set Trick Room, so I think that's still worth it, even without a Psy Spam mode to the team. I could also consider Smeargle, right? I could triple down on the boosting tech by having the Decorate option into Magearna, or Calyrex, or even Ursaluna. Another thing I could think about is what kind of leads stop Annihilate Magearna. So Ghost types mainly are the issue there, right? Maybe I should go back to Terra Ghost for Annihilate in case I get into a weird position against the Ghost type. Ghost types are the issue there because they're immune to the Final Gambit. Also just Pokemon with a lot of HP. Annihilate has 110 base HP. That's pretty good. At max HP, that's going to KO a lot of things with Final Gambit. That's why Annihilate is well, it's part of why Annihilate is a favorite Pokemon for this. I could run like Staraptor, right, which is naturally faster, but the HP is not nearly as good. Yeah, so there are things... Ghost types are immune to Final Gambit. I can Shadow Claw them. That puts me kind of weirdly out of position. I guess the bigger problem in the lead position is like heavy Tailwind offense or offensive Pokemon. I guess Scarf users that are faster than Annihilate. Maybe things like Scarf Miraidon. That's a little bit niche. I don't think I need to be too worried about that. Also, I can get terrain control on Miraidon with Indeedee. And I can play more patiently, right? Set up the Trick Room and fish for boosts later. Trick Room first, boosts after. But yeah, there's maybe some kind of Tailwind offense. Like maybe Kyogre Tailwind stuff could be a problem for this. Like Torn Ogre, right? Torn sets Tailwind, Kyogre clicks Water Spout. I just don't have much for that. It's honestly a reason to consider Terra Water. Calyrex. I also think Terra Water and Magearna is pretty reasonable here. That's a good defensive Terra type for that Pokemon. I'll keep Fire on the Calyrex for now. I could run something with Wide Guard. That again could be Smeargle. I could... It's a little hard to fit both Wide Guard and Decorate into Smeargle's moveset, but I could do that. I have 3 Trick Room setters already. That's probably enough. I could just do Torkoal, actually. Right, when in doubt, Torkoal is a good Trick Room Pokemon. It's one of the very slowest Pokemon in the game. It gives me weather control, right? I can turn off rain. It just hits very hard with Eruption under Trick Room. And the Fire typing helps to deal with opposing Fire and Steel types that, high horsepower aside, give trouble to both Calyrex and Magearna. So I think Torkoal is a good pick here. In fact, I'm surprised it took me that long to think about it. Magearna's set. Yeah, I'll just make up some bulk for these last 68 EVs. I guess I could just pick a defensive stat to invest them in. And then these are going to be slow. I'll make Ursaluna 1 point faster than Calyrex just so they don't tie, but slow, max attack, bulky stuff. Torkoal, min speed, max special attack. Gonna be very simple EV spreads. No need to fill them out in front of you. I guess I'll do a little bit of work on the sets. I think Psychic Seed in Deity is interesting on a team like this, right? For that mixed bulk, if I invest heavily on the physical side. I also do like Rocky Helmet in Deity to help deal with Urshifu. But am I that afraid of Urshifu? Urshifu's kind of strong here. Alright, I'm going to do Terra Grass in DD for the Spore Immunity option and Water Resist option. I'll do Rocky Helmet. I think Psychic Seed would be worth thinking about here, but I'll stick to what I've been comfy with lately. Follow Me, Helping Hand. I like Alluring Voice because it's fairy coverage that bypasses Wide Guard. That's why I'm not running Dazzling Gleam. I could run... Actually, I think on this team I can run Psychic. Right, this is an answer to Amoonguss, along with Ursaluna being unsleepable after the Flame Orb. Indeedee also helps me deal with Amoonguss. I don't think I need the non-stab fairy attack when I have a strong fairy type already. So I will go with Psychic here when more often lately I've used Alluring Voice. And Torkoal is just Charcoal, Drought, Eruption, Terra Fire, make that Eruption hit extra hard. I like Weather Ball because it's a bit stronger than Flamethrower and it's a single target fire type attack if I have Eruption and Heat Wave as my only fire type attacks, so then that's shut down by Wide Guard. I could do Eruption, Weather Ball, and Heat Wave. That's something I've thought about lately but not really tried out because Earth Power is what I'm going to run here. It's pretty standard on Torkoal. Actually, you know what I could do? I was going to say, Torkoal doesn't really benefit that much from coverage. It's just not very strong if you're not clicking the Sun boosted big power fire type attacks. I could do Helping Hand on Torkoal as well. Right, and just power up the spread moves from its partners. I'm willing to try that and protect. And I'll fill out the EVs and then we'll get on the ladder. Pretty straightforward stuff. Alright, there we go. Pretty simple hard Trick Room with a Magearna Annihilate twist on top. Nothing groundbreaking, one of the first kinds of teams people thought of for this format, but it's going to be my first time trying it out. I wonder whether they'll ever release shiny original color the Magearna. It looks great, but my guess is probably not, considering how hard it is just to get the base one. That shiny probably only exists because everything has to have a shiny, but who knows? Maybe someday. Oh, must have 30 attack IVs. Okay. Fixed IV, makes sense. They're not mad at me about 0 speed. I guess that means there is a very small competitive difference between Magearna forms. It would technically be optimal to run the other form instead, unless that has a fixed IV above 0, well, of 30 plus. But it doesn't matter. I don't care about that optimization. Smeargle, Kyogre, Ice Rider Calyrex, Indeedee, Iron Hands, and Blood Moon are Saluna. This also looks like a Trick Room team, but their stuff is faster than my stuff. They don't have anything as slow as Torkoal. But they do have a couple of things. Well, I have the slowest Pokemon in Torkoal, but then after that, it's a big tie between the two Calyrex, the Iron Hands, maybe Ursaluna, but mine is 1 point above min speed. It's still slower than their Ursaluna, but their Ursaluna is slower than Magearna, so this is a tricky Magearna game. I'm not sure this is a good one for Magearna. I think... but let's just fake out. Let's just do it. Let's just Final Gambit something, go for Trick Room. I'll bring Calyrex. And even though they have Kyogre, I don't feel that good about weather control. I think I'd rather have Ursaluna. That'll probably be the case in most games. The other good thing about Annihilate as a Fake Out user is, of course, it's immune to, or as a Final Gambit user is, of course, it's immune to Fake Out. So had they led Miracle here, I wouldn't have to worry about Annihilate being faked out. Instead, they lead Indeedee, so Fake Out is not an issue multiple times over. But I'm just going to click Trick Room. I'm going to Terra Water and click Trick Room with Magearna. I think there might be a high horsepower coming out into it. And I'm going to Final Gambit the Indeedee. They actually just protect their Calyrex. Once again, a defensive Terra doesn't really pay off here, but... Oh, why am I... I probably shouldn't actually be using Trick Room when Magearna is going to be faster than their Calyrex. I just autopiloted into that. But that was actually silly. I was just like, this is Trick Room team. I use Trick Room. Smeargle's here. It can't fake out because of the terrain. It can wide guard or decorate, but I'm just going to flash cannon and high horsepower to try to KO it through its sash. It also should be faster than my mons, right? So I think I deny a decorate here. Yep. Calyrex didn't get the KO, so it doesn't get a boost, but Magearna gets one, independent of getting the KO. I have my Terra Water now. This could be Iron Ball Kyogre on this team, so it looks faster than my Pokemon, but that's not a given. Or that's not guaranteed, is what I mean. But I can Dazzling Gleam here, I think. And I'm actually down to just protect my Calyrex. Let's see what happens. Their Calyrex goes for Crunch into mine. Dazzling Gleam does a lot of damage. It looks like it's not Iron Ball Kyogre, but they do take out Magearna with a Thunder. I don't have my Terra anymore. I have Ursaluna and Calyrex. I'll protect Ursaluna here, and I'll Glacial Lance. Ursaluna gets the burn this way. These both resist Glacial Lance, but they're both at low HP. Terra Ice on their Calyrex, interesting. Kind of unexpected. Boost that Glacial Lance, I guess. And they do go for it here, trying to catch my Ursaluna as well. But not doing much to my Calyrex. And now, I guess I'll just click Facade and Glacial Lance, and we'll see what happens. They go for a double protect on Kyogre, they don't get it. Ursaluna takes a Glacial Lance at full HP. Good bulky bear there. And my Glacial Lance KOs them back. So Magearna got things started here, and then Calyrex closed it out. Good stuff. Good restricted duo. Obviously, you have to cover for the fire types. I'm doing that mostly just by just having another powerhouse Trick Room attacker that's not bothered about fire types. And high horsepower is valuable as well. I could click high horsepower into this Volcanion potentially. I'm not sure I've seen a Volcanion on this ladder before. I don't know what sets it runs, but we've got Volcanion, Ice Rider, Calyrex, Indeedee, Raging Bolt, Urshifu, and Therian Form Landorus. This is not hard Trick Room, but they do also have an Ice Rider. I wonder if this is going to be one of those laddering sessions where every single opponent has a Pokemon that's a little bit awkward to deal with. But if I just Terra Water Magearna, then their restricted duo is not very threatening into it. Raging Bolt kind of is, but it's not very slow. So I think Annihilate Magearna stuff is fine here. I mean, Raging Bolt isn't fast, but it's not... Yeah, it has higher base speed than Magearna. I'll bring Calyrex, and I'm actually thinking about Indeedee in this one to deny Thunderclap. Do I need Ursaluna? Do I need Torkoal? Do I want Indeedee? I don't think Thunderclap is the end of the world in this game. I'm bringing Ursaluna. It's probably going to be these four in most games, if not all. They lead Volcanion and Indeedee. Once again, I'll just click the final Gambit into Indeedee, and I'll Terra Water and Trick Room, so same opening as last game. Terra Water should cover anything especially likely to come out from the Volcanion. A lot of Indeedee don't run Protect, some do. This one at least didn't click it here, and once again Magearna gets to +2 immediately. Volcanion goes for a Heat Wave. That actually does a fair bit, but not enough to KO or anything. And I think I'm going to go Ursaluna here immediately. Threaten that Headlong Rush into Volcanion. If it Terrastalizes to get out of it, then it probably doesn't resist Dazzling Gleam anymore. And here's Raging Bolt. They can't Thunderclap because of the Psychic Terrain that they actually set up. I didn't even bring mine, so I'll just Dazzling Gleam and Headlong Rush into Volcanion here. Either one of these Pokemon could have an Assault Vest. They go Ice Rider in the Raging Bolt slot. Headlong Rush just takes out Volcanion. That'll get Magearna to +3 before this Dazzling Gleam goes off, and it's a single target Dazzling Gleam now. It doesn't quite KO the Calyrex, but Ice Rider Calyrex is a very bulky mon. That is some serious damage right there. And here, I think I'm down to... The Calyrex might be faster than my Ursaluna. I was going to say... Or slower, I mean, because I'm 1 point above min speed. I was going to say Protect and Earthquake, but there's no need for that. Dazzling Gleam and Headlong Rush into Bolt. Bolt goes Terra Electric. They get a Glacial Lance off. It takes out Ursaluna. Their Calyrex did go before Ursaluna, so good thing I didn't protect Magearna there. The Raging Bolt turned off its fairy weakness, though, so it will actually survive a Dazzling Gleam. That was, I think, a +4 Dazzling Gleam. Raging Bolt still survives. There are 2 turns of Trick Room left, and it's now Calyrex versus Bolt. There are also 2 turns of Psychic Terrain left. I don't think Thunderclap is threatening a KO here anyway, but they can't use it regardless. And once again, Magearna punches holes, and Calyrex closes the game out. Solid stuff. This is probably one of the better teams that I'll be building in this series, or have built. I mean, we're pretty far along already now. But it's a pretty simple concept, right? Magearna really does give some extra punch to hard Trick Room, at least in some matchups. And it's slower than Lunala, and it's even slower than Dawnwing's Necrozma. Anyway, we got Pecharunt, Iron Hands, another Ice Rider Calyrex. Every single opponent so far has had Ice Rider Calyrex. At least Magearna matches up fairly well into that, too. Amoonguss, Fluttermane, and Incineroar. Okay, Amoonguss is a little bit tough to deal with. I can threaten it with Torkoal or with Indeedee. So it might be time to think about bringing one of those to a game. I think I like Torkoal here because it also threatens the Ice Rider. And it hits the Pecharunt's weaker defensive stat. I think I'm just going to do... Oh, they have 2 Ghost types, so honestly the final Gambit lead is not quite as appealing here. I could do Calyrex and Indeedee lead, actually. Use Indeedee to threaten the Amoonguss despite what I just said. And then Ursaluna and Magearna in the back. And that means I don't bring the Torkoal. I'm going to try it. It's worth a shot. I do have other Amoonguss answers still between Indeedee, Ursaluna, even Calyrex in some positions. Okay, Pecharunt, Iron Hands is their lead. So they're going to do Poison Gas into... what's it called? Not Malignant Chain. Poison Puppeteer is the ability. So instead of Follow Me Trick Room, I said they're going to do that. What I mean is they can do that. So instead of Follow Me Trick Room here, I think I'm going to do Protect and Trick Room. I don't think they're threatening a KO immediately into Indeedee. I have a lot of physical bulk on it. Here's the Poison Puppeteer. I do need Indeedee to break through Confusion, though. Okay, it happened. Now, I can High Horsepower something if I want, or I can just go Helping Hand Glacial Lance. Actually, I'll do Glacial Lance and Psychic into Pecharunt. I want to remove that thing as quickly as possible, ideally without letting it confuse my Calyrex, but Pecharunt has a lot of physical defense, so it doesn't take too much from that Glacial Lance. Do I get the Psychic off? I do not. I think, so be it. I think the Trick Room was more important, but now I'm tempted to hard switch in Ursaluna. It's just like, if they read that, then they can low kick that slot and remove Ursaluna right away. The idea is they don't click Poison Gas here because these two are already poisoned, and then once Ursaluna gets burned, it can never be poisoned. But I think I can afford to be more patient than that here. I'm just going to go for the same play again and hope I break through Confusion. Okay. Maybe Helping Hand would have been better than Psychic there. They just switched the... yeah, they went Close Combat. Not low kick, but same principle. They switched the Pecharunt out once it's poisoned both targets. But Calyrex does not break through Confusion this turn, and that is really, really bad for me. I'm going to go Magearna, and what I'm looking to do is Flash Cannon the Calyrex, I guess, and Follow Me. I guess. Yeah, Calyrex hurting itself that turn definitely hurts me. Okay, we take out... They don't Terrasilize or anything. We just take out their Calyrex with a Flash Cannon. That's a little bit of momentum pretty badly needed here. The hands will Close Combat again, lower its stuff again. Take a bit of Helmet Chip. That shouldn't matter. I get Ursaluna in here. Amoonguss is free to Spore anything. My Pokemon are... actually, Magearna is probably faster than both of their Pokemon. And even Ursaluna might be. If I just Protect, I get out of Trick Room here. And Ursaluna gets burned, and it can't be slept or poisoned from then on. So, Ursaluna might actually be well positioned here once I get out of Trick Room. It depends on the Iron Hands speed stat. Right, because if Magearna goes first now and throws off a Dazzling Gleam, Iron Hands is kind of cooked. It has lower base speed, but I'm running min-speed Magearna, so it depends on how the Iron Hands is trained. And I could Terrasilize Ursaluna to avoid a close combat, but if I do that, I make it weaker to Pecharunt, so I'm just going to rely on Magearna outspeeding the hands. If this were a best of 3 set, I could get information here and carry that forward into later games. But actually, they switch hands out to Pecharunt here. So I got the KO on Amoonguss. I don't have to worry about, or well, I still have to worry about the speed interaction, but I don't get any info on it just yet. Now it's hands and Pecharunt. I'm going to double protect here around a possible fake out. I still don't think I want a Terra Ghost or a Ursaluna. Maybe what I should do here is protect so that they see me not terrestrializing Ursaluna, and then Terra on the next turn to cover for the hands potentially being faster. Because Pecharunt, I mean, they could read that, it is possible, but most likely Pecharunt doesn't click a Ghost attack after seeing me not terrestrialize this turn. We'll see. That's not a foolproof plan, but nothing really is in this position. It looks like a very favorable position, but I think anything I do, there is some way they could conceivably beat it depending on the specific details of their sets, which of course are unknown to me. Even in open team sheets, you don't see your opponent's stats, so I still would have to just test things and find out and then adjust over the rest of the set. Fake out into Ursaluna. Poison gas. I'm going to do what I said here. I'm going to Terra Ghost. I'm going to Flash Cannon Pecharunt, I think. I'm going to Dazzling Gleam. Terra Ghost. Headlong Rush Pecharunt. There we go. They clicked Hex, but it was into Magearna, not Ursaluna. They clicked Close Combat. Magearna, surprisingly bulky, takes that very well. The hands was faster than my Magearna, so good thing I guess that I got in my head about that, but it worked out fine. They actually double targeted Magearna, didn't get a KO. Magearna and Ursaluna closed this one out. Okay, Lunala, Fairy Arceus, Indeedee, Incineroar, Amoonguss, Ditto. Tough, bulky team. If it's Scarf Ditto, then obviously I have an advantage over it in Trick Room, but if it's not Scarf Ditto, then it could be very dangerous into a boosting team like this one. Also, just got a wildfire alert about a wildfire, not in my immediate area, but closer than I'd like. That's not good. Got an emergency alert on my phone. I don't know if you could hear that. But, anyway. The other thing is they have Trick Room on their team for sure, so they can reverse my Trick Room. It's a tricky speed control game. Also, Annihilate is kind of rough to use here because Arceus definitely has higher base HP, and a Fairy-type Arceus might well be running max HP, and Lunala is immune. So once again, I don't really like the Annihilate stuff here. Magearna, though, if it can get going in Trick Room, does look strong here. But I think what I'm going to do is... I think I'm going to do this mode again. Calyrex, Indeedee, Calyrex, Indeedee, Magearna, Ursaluna. There's a case for bringing Torkoal, but I don't know. I'm bringing my strongest attackers right now. They have Lunala, Indeedee. If I don't set Trick Room, they might set it for me, trying to reverse it. I'm honestly down to give that a try. They also could Wide Guard, though. So Glacial Lance is not necessarily valuable here. But I'll give it a shot. I'm going to follow me Glacial Lance. I don't know what's going to happen here. They just Helping Hand. Okay, I am... okay, I don't quite get what I want, but it's not the worst possible outcome. Does that mean I can get my Trick Room here? Down to find out. Also, I think they're going for Expanding Force because I can redirect a Moongeist Beam into my normal type and be immune. So they're in an awkward position too. Oh, I didn't read the full emergency alert. That looks worse than I realized at first. Anyway. They haven't shown Wide Guard yet. They have it. Okay, but if they KO Indeedee here, then I get somebody else in. No, they just reverse the Trick Room. Okay. Valid. Tough position for both of us, I think. Am I in Expanding Force range? Yes. I'm going to protect and Trick Room. They're going to knock out Indeedee. I don't get the Trick Room up, but I do get somebody else onto the field at least. And I think it's going to be Magearna. Don't want to make this too easy for them from here, right? Now, taking KOs can power me up. It's still tough. I'm gonna Glacial... I'm gonna High Horsepower and Flash Cannon into Indeedee. Got me with the wide guard. So they take out Calyrex here, but that gives Magearna a boost. Flash Cannon KOs Indeedee and gives Magearna another boost. Psychic Terrain ends. They don't have the spread expanding force anymore. They do have Imposter Ditto transformed into my Magearna. I'm going to try to get Trick Room up here. I'm going to Terra Water, anticipating that they click Flash Cannon into Magearna to try to deny the Trick Room. It's Dazzling Gleam. So I turned off my Fairy Resist, but we still survive. I have to Headlong Rush. These are not serious. These are not Facade targets. Maybe I can Facade and Flash Cannon Ditto. Maybe that will get rid of that. I'm going to Headlong Rush Ditto. It should just KO if it goes off, and I'll click Flash Cannon into Lunala. Maybe I crit it or something. Ditto protects. It's not Scarfed. But I KO Lunala. That means Ditto and Magearna will speed tie, though. That's awkward. But Ditto is still faster than Ursaluna, at least. They get Arceus in here. I am down to protect Magearna and Earthquake. I'm looking to take out Ditto. There's no more wide guard on the board, and then I'm looking for Magearna to beat Arceus. Ditto just protected. It can go for a double protect, but that has a chance to fail. It doesn't. It's Sash Ditto. Of course, if it's not... I should have known if it's not Scarf, that's the next most likely item. Alright, I need to... Okay, well, Ursaluna Fainting gives boost to both Magearna, the real one and the fake one. It's +4 now. I'm going to click Dazzling Gleam. I'm going to hope I win the speed tie, and I'm going to hope that KOs Arceus. It worked. Hey, sometimes hope pays off. You get that last Soul Heart between the two faintings. But yeah, that was just a 50-50 on the last turn there. Ditto copies all of the transformed Pokemon. When Ditto transforms into something, there we go, it copies all of that thing's stats except HP. Normally you run Choice Scarf on Ditto so that you know it will be faster than the thing it transformed into. That was just a speed tie. Two different +4 Magearna with identical stats. Whichever one went first would KO the other and win the game. That was a fun one. Okay. Magearna, green Squawkabilly. I don't remember the difference between the Squawkabilly forms. I think it's a pretty small difference, but they definitely get like Final Gambit, as well as Parting Shot and Intimidate. Some of them at least get Intimidate. This is the Final Gambit stuff, but it's with Squawkabilly instead of Annihilate. And then they have Ice Rider Calyrex. Did that last opponent have... No, that last opponent didn't have an Ice Rider, so not every single opponent so far has had an Ice Rider, but pretty close. Rillaboom, Donphan, and Urshifu. I wonder what the Donphan is here for. It's a slow Pokemon. It's a physical tank. It gets sturdy. It could be a threat, for sure, into my team. It's possible. What's its speed, actually? Is it? It's the same base speed as Calyrex and Ursaluna. It is in that base 50 speed group. Oh, the Donphan is going to be interesting if they bring it to this game. I hope they do. Torkoal is very strong into a lot of their team. Torkoal is strong into like everything, unless this is Rapid Strike or Shifu. So I might want to think about bringing that. I do need to make a decision, though. I'm going to bring Magearna Annihilate, I'm going to bring Calyrex, and I am going to bring Torkoal. We'll see how that goes. Torkoal also, once again, the slowest Pokemon in the matchup, as it is in most matchups. Magearna Donphan. Can I just Final Gambit their Magearna? It would KO. Terra Water. I'm not going to Trick Room because Donphan is actually slower than Magearna, unless it's a fast Donphan. I'm just going to Dazzling Gleam. I'm going to Final Gambit their Magearna. They protect. Fair enough. They're getting damage on Annihilate here. Now they go for High Horsepower into Magearna. Good thing I turned off the weakness to that. I can make the same play again. They don't have a Ghost type to switch in on the Final Gambit. It could be Terra Ghost Magearna, but it's probably not. We are, somebody else joined the battle. But more, okay, Squawkabilly's here. It gets KO'd. Magirna gets a +2, and +3 after taking out Donphan. Would have liked to see Donphan do more than that, but, you know, it's the opponent. Gotta beat it if I can. I'm gonna go Torkoal here, because it could probably take a hit from their Magirna, even though I haven't set Trick Room. Torkoal's actually awkward with no Trick Room on my side of the field. I'm gonna Dazzling... No, I'm gonna Flash Cannon Calyrex and Weather Ball Magirna. They Terra Fairy. They get a Dazzling Gleam off first. Yeah. Okay, I do get an attack off with Torkoal. Yeah, it was fun to not... I'm gonna go for Trick Room here. It was fun to not set Trick Room at first and overwhelm the Donphan that way, but this is where I get punished for it. But let's see. High Horsepower does not KO my Calyrex even with a crit. I get Trick Room here. Unfortunately, I don't have a strong Eruption anymore because Torkoal's so low. But I can click I can click Glacial Lance. I can click... Fuck! I clicked Eruption when I meant to click Cancel. I was going for Glacial Lance and Weather Ball into their Calyrex. I clicked Eruption instead of Cancel. Oh, that's so tilting. Also, did you notice this? Annihilate has not had Defiant this whole time. I just forgot to change it. It got intimidated that game by the Squawkabilly. That's so tilting. I just misclicked the last turn. Oh well. On to the next one. Is that the first loss of the video? I don't remember. Honestly, I'm also getting kind of distracted by the wildfire alerts at this point. It looks pretty bad. Hope everyone's okay. And it's not... Again, it's not in my immediate area, but it's too close for comfort. Raging Bolt... I guess it's old news by the time this video goes up. Any new developments will have happened. Raging Bolt, Champao, Shadow Rider, Calyrex, Rillaboom, Amoonguss, Zamazenta. Nice Shadow Rider, Zamazenta balance. How do I break that? Annihilate Magirna. Annihilate Magirna is a little bit vulnerable to, like... I don't know what. Priority spam? To weaken the final Gambit? Alright, let's try this mode. Torkoal is not bad into a lot of their team. But I think I'll just go back to the Ursaluna here. They lead Zamazenta Champao. Very strong, very scary lead that I have spammed a number of times on this channel. But it does, with its very physically bulky and DD, allow me to click Trick Room and follow me here. Ice Spinner clears the terrain. So they'll get their priority online. I feel like I'm seeing Ice Spinner more often once again. There's a stretch where people were not using it so much, but it feels like it's picking up. I'll go Magirna. I want to terrestrialize both of these Pokemon. The rules of the game don't allow me to do that. I think I will High Horsepower Zamazenta. Covering for Wide Guard here. High Horsepower Zamazenta. Arrow Water. And Flash Cannon Champao. Champao protects. Zamazenta takes decent damage. Body presses a lot to Magirna. Do you think they let me get away with a Dazzling Gleam here? I still need the High Horsepower, regardless, for the damage. Zama protects, but it doesn't Wide Guard. Oh, Stellar Champao just takes out my Calyrex, though. Magirna gets a boost, but Magirna's a low HP. Indeedee's fainted. I have no way to stop priority from here. I do take out their Sucker Punch user. Also, Magirna can only attack 2 more times before it faints to its own life orb. But yeah, they have the big scare. Okay, so they have Thunderclap available now, and Ursaluna's vulnerable to Body Press. Nonetheless, I think. Oh, also there are only 2 turns of Trick Room left. Okay, I think I just lose this one because even if this goes exactly as I want this turn, which is I protect Magirna take out the Raging Bolt with Headlong Rush, and then they probably KO Ursaluna with Zamazenta. Even then, they can protect Zamazenta and whatever their other Pokemon is the next turn, and then Trick Room is over, and Magearna never gets to set Trick Room back up. So, yeah, this mode just didn't work at all. I'm going to go for that anyway and hope I find a way, but... yeah, see, Magearna was always fainting to that Thunderclap if I didn't protect. And outside of Trick Room, it's the same kind of thing. Raging Bolt can just Thunderbolt it. So attacking Zamazenta instead there doesn't do anything to help me. They let me Dazzling Gleam their Zamazenta, but it's Sash Shadow Rider. Makes sense. And in the end, hey, in a way, this game was as close as it could possibly be. The winner had one Pokemon with 1 hit point left. They might not have had Wide Guard on that Zamazenta. They never showed it. But yeah. That's some serious balance stuff that was just too much for me to deal with, at least with the mode that I brought to that game. But again, if I bring Annihilate stuff, they priority attack Annihilate, and the final Gambit is just not that strong anymore. Maybe I just needed to like close combat the Chien-Pao or something. Of course, I didn't know at the time that it was Terra Stellar instead of Ghost, but yeah, maybe that's the kind of play I need to make there into that. I don't know. Miraidon, Kyogre, Raichu, Chien-Pao, Iron Treads, and Talonflame. Talonflame can set Tailwind, and then Miraidon or whoever can outspeed Scarf Annihilate, so I don't think that works here. I don't hate Calyrex and Indeedee, once again. It's a bit vulnerable to Water Spout from lead Kyogre. Maybe Magearna. I don't really want to be pressured to Terastallize Magearna turn 1. Although maybe it's okay. I think I probably either win in the initial round of Trick Room or lose in this game. I'm going to stick to my gut here and do Calyrex and Indeedee lead. I get the terrain control immediately against Miraidon. I'm a little bit afraid of Kyogre. And I get Magearna in the back, and I think Torkoal is just not that good here. It's really bad into both of their restricteds. It is good into some of these others. It is worth considering for that, but I think we just go Ursaluna. It's so much stronger. They lead Kyogre Talonflame. Now remember, I did consider in the builder running Terra Water on my Calyrex instead of Terra Fire. Terra Fire has not been valuable so far. Terra Water would be nice to have here. And then I also would leave Magearna unterrestrialized to deal with the Miraidon in the back, but can't cover for everything. Trick Room, follow me, hope for the best. I could do I actually could Terra Grass Indeedee here and try to set Trick Room with that, but they actually... oh, that's okay. Yeah, that actually would have worked. Although I get the Trick Room anyway without taking any damage this turn. That's a weird. I was so puzzled as to how the Hurricane failed for a second because I'm not used to seeing that. But of course, Gale Wings gives priority to all flying type attacks while Talonflame is at full HP. You're not used to seeing Talonflame run Hurricane, but that is +1 priority Hurricane because of the Gale Wings. Unfortunately for them, Psychic Terrain stops the priority. I'm just gonna Glacial Lance and Helping Hand here. The less I take from a possible Water Spout, the better. They protect Talonflame. Origin Pulse does a lot of damage to my stuff. Maybe I'm better off going for high horsepower into Kyogre here. They could protect it. I don't know. Switch Raichu in. A bulky Kyogre. I'm down 2 Pokemon already. They can't fake out in the Trick Room. So I get Magearna and Ursaluna here, and I can just start attacking with them. I'll go Dazzling Gleam and Facade, still trying to get rid of Kyogre. Obviously Ursaluna is not burned yet, but this is still a strong attack from a strong attacker. Yeah, and then the Dazzling Gleam gets the KO. That's 1 Soul Heart boost, but this, yeah, my offense has been sputtering a bit more than I'd like here. We take a Surf back from the Raichu. That's an interesting tack. I might just run out of gas. There's 1 turn of Trick Room left. Calyrex just didn't do as much as I wanted, but it's tricky, right? Because I was thinking about a Miraidon lead that I didn't see as well as the Kyogre one that I did, and it was, you know, to my opponent's credit as a team builder, very, very hard to cover for both. I think the best thing I can do here is protect Magearna and Earthquake. Ah, they got me. Well, they sort of got me. Talonflame's not that threatening, at least. Oh, but how do I ever get Trick Room up now? Well, what if Talonflame's only attack is... Here's the thought. What if Talonflame's only attack is Hurricane, and so it's... Oh, there's no Psychic Terrain anymore. It actually can just click Hurricane. Alright, I'm going to go for Trick Room with Magearna, but I'm also just going to go for Headlong Rush into Miraidon. The hope is that they don't KO my stuff here. Is it Flare Blitz from Talonflame? Flamethrower. It's a special Talonflame. Wow, this video started so strong, and then I think it was 3 losses in a row. And there was that one really bad misclick, but I'm not sure I was winning that game anyway. I'm gonna get one more. This team felt way stronger in the early games of the video. I think I could probably get it back on track before we end here. Another Pecharunt and Donphan. This is not the same team, right? So is Donphan just... Does Donphan just have a place in this meta now? What does it do that 2 different people are using it here? They have Tailwind, Ghost type. This is faster than Annihilate. Maybe I need to not be afraid and just lead Annihilate anyway. I'm down to try it once. I'm also down to try the Golem stuff in another video. They lead Tornadus and Pecharunt. The good news is they can't switch Pecharunt in. The bad news is they could like Hex Annihilate. But they also can't Poison Magearna, and Tornadus is not an offensive threat into it. Tornadus can Tailwind, but if it does that, then it's not... Or, sorry, can taunt Magearna, but if it does that, then it's not Tailwinding. So I'm going to Trick Room... I'm going to click Trick Room and Final Gambit into Torn. They taunt Magearna. So Magearna doesn't get an attack off this turn, but it does get to +2. What does Pecharunt do? Poison Gas. Magearna's immune. I guess I'll go... I can go Ursaluna here. Yeah, I can go Ursaluna here and I can double protect. I can threaten Miraidon if they bring that in. It's actually Ogerpon. I'll double Oh, I can't double protect. Magearna is taunted. I don't want Magearna to just drop to an Ivy Cudgel, so I'm going to Terra, Water, and Flash Cannon Pecharunt. I will protect Ursaluna, so I can get the status on it without getting confused. Poison would also power up my Guts and Facade, but I would get confused. They went for Poison Gas, so they do get to confuse Magearna here. I really hope Magearna breaks through. Why did I say that? I have no Ivy Cudgel switch in, but they might not click Ivy Cudgel this time. Actually, I'm going to try to protect. Oh, I can't. Alright, I'm down to sack Magearna here. Calyrex can hopefully beat their Miraidon in the back. I'm just going to click Flash Cannon to Pecharunt, but the real thing here is I'm going to click Earthquake. I mean, Magearna's faster than Ursaluna, so if it got the attack off, it would still go through. Okay, now I get Calyrex. I have no cover for the Ivy Cudgel, except I do have one thing. I have Protect and another Earthquake. I might actually be able to Earthquake my way out of this one. It's just, this one also does not feel like a very smooth game, but it's not lost yet, I think. Horn Leech into Ursaluna. Doesn't KO. They went from Malignant Chain into Calyrex. I get the Earthquake off. I get 2 KOs. I cannot... I will drop to burn damage now, so I can't KO what I assume is Miraidon in the back with I can't Earthquake it or Headlong Rush it. Just have to Glacial Lance and hope that KOs. It's Overheat Miraidon, but Calyrex at full HP tanks the hit, throws a Glacial Lance back, and yeah, the battles definitely got tougher as this video went on. And I don't usually watch my rating very closely in these videos, but I got up over 1400, and now I'm back solidly mid 1300s after that string of losses. But we do end on a win here, and Magearna didn't do much in this game, but it did put in work overall in this video. And for my very first take on a Magearna team, I think this was not too bad. Again, I was sticking to things that I know, things that are familiar from like Reg I and whatnot, but I think there's probably a better Magearna team to be found that could really go crazy in this format. And I definitely want to try the Alolan Golem thing. I do not think that's that better Magearna team, but it just seems like a funny idea. But that's for another time. For now, that's it for this part in the series, and after this we'll go back to the wheel next time and see what's next.